She made all four coaches turn their chairs. She shattered records. She brought Jamaican soul to a global stage, and she won. But just when the world expected her to explode into superstardom, she vanished. No scandals, no meltdowns, just silence. Tessanne Chin was the first foreign-born winner of The Voice USA. She dominated iTunes, outsung Grammy winners, and turned Adam Levine into a believer.
Tessie and I are the babies of 5, and we have an older sister and 2 older brothers, which a lot of people don't realize as well.
But behind the ovations was a woman unraveling quietly, privately, and far away from the headlines. What happened after she left that stage? Why did her major label debut disappear without a trace? And what secret heartbreak nearly made her give up on music completely? Her journey wasn't just about winning a competition. It was about identity, pressure, heartbreak, and eventually healing. It's a story of someone who stepped away from the spotlight not because she couldn't handle it, but because she had the courage to choose something else. Because while some artists chase fame, Tessanne Chin walked away to find something far more powerful: peace, purpose, and her own voice again. This is the untold story of a Caribbean powerhouse who rose, fell, and rose again on her own terms. Before she was on stage with Adam Levine, before the lights and the headlines, Tessanne Chin was just a little girl in Kingston, Jamaica, surrounded by rhythm, faith, and fierce ambition. Music wasn't a hobby in the Chin household. It was a family business.
And, you know, we grew up in a very musical family, but also a very religious, spiritual family.
Her father, Richard, was a drummer. Her mother, Christine, sang and played trumpet in a local band called the Carnations. Their family home had a full recording studio in the back. This wasn't a fantasy, it was a foundation. Tessanne and her sister Tammy were the babies of 5 siblings, raised in a deeply spiritual Seventh-day Adventist home. From Friday sundown to Saturday night, everything stopped. No TV, no performances, just stillness and the radio. That silence sharpened her ear. That structure built her discipline.
In any kind of, like, little people weren't allowed to do that show, the Friday show.
Or the Saturday matinee.
We weren't allowed to watch TV. So I think our saving grace was like the radio.
At just 6 years old, Tessanne joined the Little People and Teen Players Club, Jamaica's top performing art school. Her first stages weren't shiny. They were sweaty, loud, chaotic, and she loved every second. But the real shift came at 12, when her family moved to England. Culture shock hit hard. White classrooms, cold streets, forms asking if she was black, Asian, or white. She checked other.
But having to fill out school forms where they asked you what you were, like, what are race? You Asian, are you black, are you white? And I remember thinking, I don't know.
That displacement didn't break her. It deepened her roots. She wrote songs, held tight to her Jamaican identity, and promised herself she'd never forget where she came from, even when the world couldn't quite place her. England opened her ears to new genres, but it was Jamaica that fed her soul. Back home, she joined reggae rock band Mile High, performed at Jazz Fest and Rock Fest, and toured with Jimmy Cliff for 3 years, standing just steps away from legends like Patti LaBelle, Peabo Bryson, and Gladys Knight.
Because people are just so gracious and wonderful. Even before, like, you know, one of the only places we were allowed to go is Target.
She wasn't chasing fame. She was building endurance. In 2006, her debut track Hideaway wasn't just a hit, it was a Caribbean anthem. VP Records picked it up. Reggae Gold added it. She broke through on New York Airways without compromising her sound.
Because we could get, like, our fruit and our stuff to put in our room, and, you know, people would just randomly come up to me in Target and be like, oh, we're voting for you, and da-da-da.
But behind the curtain, Tessanne was tired, exhausted, hustling. Married in 2011, she tried to balance the grind with a quiet home life, but the stage kept calling. Then came the call from Shaggy. You need to audition for The Voice. She almost said no. Almost. She didn't want to be a reality show contestant. She wanted to be an artist. Someone who built her name on stages, not sound bites. But Shaggy reggae icon, friend, and mentor saw something she couldn't. Just sing.
But I can't seem to find my way over.
He told her, let them hear you, let them see. So in 2013, Tessanne Chin flew to Los Angeles with nothing but her voice and a quiet determination. When she stepped onto the Voice stage for her blind audition, she had one goal, make them turn. She chose Try by Pink, a risky move. Raw, emotional, vocally demanding. The kind of song that can either make you a frontrunner or send you packing. Within seconds, Adam Levine slammed his button. Then CeeLo Green. Then Christina Aguilera. Then Blake Shelton. A four-chair turn. Studio on fire. Crowd on their feet. Even the producers looked stunned. This wasn't just talent. This was power. Tessanne didn't blink. She chose Adam. And the rest is reality TV history. What followed was one of the most dominant runs the show had ever seen. She didn't just sing. She delivered moments. Her rendition of Whitney Houston's I Have Nothing went straight to #1 on iTunes. She followed it up with Bridge Over Troubled Water, another iTunes chart topper. She became the first contestant that season to hit #1 twice during voting windows. Fans weren't just voting. They were downloading, streaming, sharing. She was turning casual viewers into believers. Week after week, she crushed expectations. And when the finale aired in December 2013, the entire Caribbean paused. And then Carson Daly spoke the words that changed everything. The winner of The Voice is Tessanne Chin. The crowd exploded. The confetti rained. Jamaica lit up. Tessanne had shattered voting records and become the first foreign-born winner in Voice history. She didn't just win a trophy, she opened a door for artists who had never seen themselves in that spotlight. That night, she performed her debut single Tumbling Down, written by Ryan Tedder of One Republic. It was supposed to mark the beginning of a massive mainstream career. But here's the truth no one tells you. Winning The Voice is the easy part. What happens after? That's where the real battle begins. The confetti hadn't even been swept off the Voice stage before the pressure started to build. Overnight, Tessanne Chin became a household name from Kingston to Kansas. The world expected a debut album, a tour, an instant Beyoncé-level glow-up. But the reality? Far messier. Republic Records, the label tied to her Voice win, pushed out her debut album, Count on My Love, in July 2014. But the rollout felt rushed. No lead single, minimal promotion, no proper launch strategy. It was like the industry didn't know what to do with a Jamaican soul rock reggae fusion artist. The album debuted at #1 on the Billboard Reggae Albums chart, a win on paper, but it barely cracked the Billboard 200. Fans were confused. Critics went silent. And Tessanne? She was exhausted. The Voice tour came next. Summer 2014. She headlined cities across the U.S., sharing stages with other finalists. But behind the applause, she was starting to feel the cracks. Her marriage was quietly falling apart. The whirlwind of fame had kept her moving, but reality hit hard when the lights dimmed. By 2015, Tessanne and her husband Michael Cove Jr. had divorced. There was no scandal, no headlines, just heartbreak. She pulled back from the spotlight, not because she failed, but because she needed to breathe. Some critics began whispering, was she just another reality show casualty? One season of greatness, followed by a fade into obscurity. But Tessanne wasn't fading. She was healing. She returned to Jamaica, reconnected with her family, and found peace in silence. No label deadlines, no camera crews, just her guitar, and her truth. In 2016, she started writing again, not for charts, but for therapy. And slowly, the fire came back. She began performing at select events, jazz festivals, national concerts, and small acoustic sets. The fans were still there. The Voice was still there. And most importantly, the purpose was still there. By 2019, she had fallen in love again, this time with Brandon Crooks, a quiet creative who saw her heart, not just her headlines. On February 1st, 2020, Tessanne became a mother, welcoming her daughter Zia Christine Crooks. She didn't just survive the post-voice slump. She reclaimed her voice and rewrote her story. Motherhood didn't quiet Tessanne, it sharpened her. While the industry moved on, she slowed down intentionally. She wasn't chasing charts. She was chasing peace. Late-night feedings became rehearsals. Diaper changes replaced tour buses. But something deeper was happening. For the first time in years, Tessanne was singing without pressure. No deadlines, no critics. Just lullabies, lyrics, and love. And then she found her second wind. She married Brandon Crooks in June 2019 in a quiet ceremony with no flashing cameras, and that's exactly how she liked it. The headlines didn't matter. The heart did. In 2020, their daughter Zia became her center. In 2023, just one day after Zia's third birthday, she gave birth to their second daughter, Isa Denise. Two little girls, two miracles, and one mother is determined to raise them in music, love, and self-worth. Tessanne began recording again, but this time on her terms. No major label pressures. No corporate playbacks. Her third studio album, in progress with Natural High Music, is a return to her roots. Organic, honest, uncompromising. For the first time in a long time, she told the Jamaica Observer, "I'm just having fun." She also launched VoiceBox, a performance academy for Jamaican youth aged 6 to 18. Her goal? To give young artists the kind of training, guidance, and space she once had. Not just to perform, but to find themselves. In December 2024, she dropped a Christmas single, Christmas is Better With You, and staged her second annual holiday show, Our Christmas Wish, a platform for emerging talent. That same month, she performed alongside Boys II Men and Lila Ike at the live and direct concert series, and proved she hadn't lost a step. If anything, she'd gained more. Now, Tessanne lives between Kingston and the studio, balancing motherhood, music, and mentorship. No gimmicks, no viral campaigns. Just steady, soulful evolution. She doesn't need another win. She's already won in life, in love, and in legacy. Because real artistry isn't measured by charts or clout. It's measured by how you show up for yourself, your community, and your truth. And Tessanne Chin, she's still showing up.